In the scorching northern Sudanese desert, archaeologists Kristen Romey and Pearce Creasman embark on a challenging exploration of a submerged ancient tomb in the land of Nubia. Equipped with minimal gear, including waterproof flashlights and emergency air containers, they navigate a rock-carved staircase, driven by the mystery surrounding the largely unstudied artifacts within the pyramids of Nuri. Their destination is the tomb of Nastisen, the late king of Kush, hidden underwater for over 2,000 years. Despite concerns about grave robbers, Romey and Creasman, both seasoned underwater archaeologists, plunge into the yellow sandstone-filled water. The discovery of an imposing pyramid in the distance intensifies their determination to explore the submerged secrets within. Descending into the water with a specific goal, the archaeologists face challenges, including the exceptionally deep water and the need to shimmy through tight openings beneath the ancient pyramid. Creasman, having previously explored Nastisen's tomb alone, now leads Romey through the three chambers, aiming to investigate the untouched submerged sarcophagus. Their journey unfolds against the backdrop of historical significance, with Creasman delivering cautionary messages about the deep water and cramped spaces. The expedition, laden with uncertainty, highlights the commitment of these archaeologists to uncover the secrets hidden within the ancient tomb, emphasizing the historical importance of Nuri, a relatively unexplored chapter in the region's history. Located in Nuri, the site housing around 20 pyramids constructed from 650 BC to 300 BC, the tomb the archaeologists explored covers nearly 200 acres of land. Close to the east of the Nile River, Nuri is prone to flooding, submerging Nastisen's pyramid base, a 100-square-foot structure, in water. The burial grounds of the Kushite royals, known as the Black Pharaohs, marked a significant historical period where 5 Kushite pharaohs ruled all of Egypt from 760 BC to 650 BC. The pyramids of Nuri remained relatively unexplored due to the lack of underwater archaeological attempts in Sudan. George Reiner, an American archaeologist, was the first to venture into the burial chambers, but only found that the pharaohs were buried underground and their tombs were flooded. Reiner's findings in Nuri remained unpublished for almost a century, leading to the site's obscurity. In 2018, Creasman, equipped with underwater archaeology experience, revisited Nuri with a grant from the National Geographic Society. Focused on the Pyramid of Nastisen, he unearthed answers that had eluded Reiner. Nastisen, a minor royal who ruled Kush from 335 BC to 315 BC, became the subject of Creasman's exploration, shedding light on the submerged mysteries of the ancient tomb. If one sought to uncover the history of Nastisen, the task involved more than a simple inquiry. It required delving into his tomb. However, this proved challenging due to the significantly increased water levels since Reiner's expedition. Despite the difficulties, Risner's team managed to locate the staircase leading to the tomb. After excavating the flight, a worker descended into the crypt, spending time digging a hole and retrieving shabby statues meant for the afterlife. Regrettably, time constraints limited the worker's efforts, and soon after surfacing, Risner's team departed, leaving the tomb forgotten, its staircase buried by desert sand. Years later, when Creasman ventured to Nuri, the buried staircase was rediscovered, though it took his team about a year to unearth it. By 2019, they reached the tomb's entry point, but the discovery brought no cause for celebration. The realization dawned that the rest of the chamber lay submerged underwater. In an interview with BBC, Creasman explained that despite the staircase having 65 stairs, only 40 were excavated before reaching the water surface. Going further required putting heads underwater. Uncovering the stairs was just the beginning, as dangers lurked beneath the water. Divers faced the risk of being trapped if surrounding rocks collapsed into the opening. To mitigate this risk, Creasman reinforced the entrance with metal chutes to divert falling rocks away. However, entering the tomb meant shimmying around the chute, a challenging task given the sandstone-filled water. Maneuvering through the chute, made even more difficult by poor visibility, required divers to rely on an oxygen supply line from the surface, as scuba tanks were impractical in the confined space. A small emergency container of air, about the size of a hairspray can, served as a backup. Once logistics were sorted, researchers finally dove in to investigate Nastissen's tomb. In the first chamber, the water reached the ceiling, causing visibility issues in the bus-sized space. Creasman and Rye circled around before reaching the second chamber, where a collapsed ceiling created a sizable air pocket. Here, Creasman unpacked supplies, placing flashlights and plastic jars to illuminate the dark chamber. Subsequently, the archaeologists progressed toward the ultimate chamber, navigating through a low, rounded rock-cut doorway. In the third and final chamber, barely visible beneath them, lay a stone sarcophagus believed to house the remains of Nastissen. Notably, they also identified the pit that Risner's worker had excavated nearly a century ago. As this marked the initial phase of a significant project, Creasman ensured meticulous planning moving into 2020, having unveiled a crucial missing piece of Kush history. Creasman's subsequent objectives were pivotal for the project's success. Firstly, he aimed to establish the safety and viability of the air supply system for extended use. Secondly, basic measurements of each chamber were essential to the preliminary exploration plan. The concluding step involved a thorough excavation of Risner's pit to ascertain if any overlooked or abandoned artifacts remained. The workers' choice to dig in that specific spot intrigued Creasman, prompting a deeper investigation. Regrettably, the opening of the stone coffin had to be deferred. Priority lay in figuring out how to extract the sarcophagus from the chamber to the surface before contemplating its unveiling. The silver lining was that rising groundwater had deterred grave robbers, preserving much of Nastissen's burial items within the tomb. Despite potential disintegration of some objects in the sandstone and water mix, the team persisted in their efforts. Digging up more of Risner's pit, they filled plastic buckets with sediment and transported them to the air-pocketed second chamber. There, the sediment underwent screening and artifacts emerged. Among the discoveries were paper-thin pieces of pure gold foil, likely remnants of figurines that had dissolved in the water. These gilded figures, susceptible to grave robbers, reinforced the notion that rising water had deterred any illicit activity. On their final dive, Creasman floated into the third chamber, discussing upcoming goals for the project with his team. The primary challenge was to raise the 2,300-year-old submerged sarcophagus to the surface. Despite acknowledging the difficulty, Creasman expressed optimism, emphasizing technological advancements to unveil the story of Nuri, a remarkable yet relatively unknown chapter in history that deserved broader recognition. Subscribe for more updates.